Well, ladder 1, Tesla 0.
Looks like the ladder smacked it there, pierced the radiator. Doesn't look like it damaged it too much else under there.
I'm sorry I killed your project.
Made it more of a project. The lights are on. Both our mics working?
Yes.
Sorry.
It lives.
We are back in the Tesla Model S.
I didn't kill it.
It has 208,000 miles and still going now.
Still going.
So let's recap a little bit. We had gotten to an accident. A ladder fell out of a vehicle, we think,
yeah,
and hit the front of the Tesla and pierced the radiator. From what we found out, that was all the fluid that was on the ground was the coolant, and that was on October 9th.
Yeah, we were headed back from the Charged rally, and I was driving the Tesla on I-80. We drove separately, which we usually tend to do just because it's a time for soccer, so we need both cars so that if somebody has to come back for a game. So we were driving separately, which was kind of lucky, and I hit a ladder on I-80, so that was October 8th. 9th.
Well, maybe it was October 8th, but whatever.
Yeah, because they took
went
it in
into
on
service on October 9th.
Yep.
And we had it shipped to the service center because we weren't really sure. There was a couple options. You could have sent it to a body shop or the service center. And I just sent it to the service center. I figured they could figure it out. In the end, I don't know if that was the right thing to do, because what they had to do was get the Tesla body shop in Minnesota, I believe, to get the parts for it and paint it the color and do all that and then ship it to them, and they put it on there. So it took a little bit longer. We ended up getting it finished November 1st, but we had some issues with Tesla and our insurance because we do have full coverage on it. So it ended up costing $3,200. Wow. $3,248. That was the total for the front end. It had radiator, motor, coolant, some brackets to be repaired. So
yeah.
And I just mentioned that because this is a $16,000 car. I just recently looked. You can find some for like $12,000. So most people might not have full coverage on it. And so for this case, since we don't know where that ladder came from or anything like that, that falls on us. And if you have liability coverage, you would have had to pay that full $3,200.
Yeah.
Not just your deductible.
So we are glad that we had the full coverage on it and that it was taken care of. I mean, really, it was a relatively smooth process other than like having to wait for parts and stuff. You know, I don't think Steve did most of the talking to Tesla and everything, but you know, we just towed it straight from where I stopped the car, and it was, I mean, technically drivable, but the car was saying like that the coolant low, pull over, wind safe, you know, like all this stuff. So I just pulled over, stopped, and that's where we had it towed from, straight to Tesla. So make your own judgments on how bad that means that the damage was. I was worried that like it had done something to the battery or something like that, because it literally looked like it just went straight through the front of the car. So it was just like, I don't know how deep this goes, but
yeah, luckily it was just the radiator, the front end, all of those components that got hit. You know, it was a fairly simple fix. It's always a little bit annoying living in Lincoln, Nebraska, because the nearest station, you know, service station is in Council Bluffs. All dealerships, let's be honest, all dealerships, body shops are annoying, even if they're right next door. So car trouble just sucks. So
yeah.
But we are glad to have it back. We are glad that it lives, and we want to continue to talk about what it's like owning a high mile Tesla specifically. So we're planning on doing a bunch of tests with it. If you have any tests that you think you want to know about, I would love to hear it. Some of the regular stuff I normally do is a 10 to 80% charge, so I'll do that. That'll just give me a good idea of what this is going to be like road tripping. We will take this on road trips and see what that is like as far as the space in the car for our family of 5 and dog. What the charging is like, which I'm assuming is not going to be the best. It is a 10-year-old car, so it's hard to judge much about that.
Yeah, so we'll talk about some of the stuff that we know we need to fix on it as well. So on the way back from the charge rally, before I got into an accident, I noticed that even if I bumped up the speed on the cruise control, it felt like the car was getting squirrely, like it was, pushing
the
sideways.
rear end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was coming out from behind you. And so I guess that ends up being some sort of issue.
Yeah, we got to look into it. If you guys know what that is, I'm sure it's a common issue that happens with higher mild Teslas. But we're in contact with some people to get that figured out, get the parts for that, and I'll go through all that. We also do have an airbag that needs to be replaced. That deflates if you leave it parked for an extended period of time.
The door handle stopped coming out, which you've already fixed, so
Yeah,
I can get in and out of the car.
That's been covered a zillion times online, but we did want to mention it because it is a common issue in these older Model S's. We're talking to a company about potentially getting some new wheels and tires for this vehicle. The wheels, they're old, so they're pretty beat up.
Just like that guy that just hit the curb in front of us.
Did they smack the curb?
Yeah.
So I'm excited to get into all that. If you guys have any tests or anything that you'd like us to run on it, I could try to figure out how Kyle Connor does a battery degradation test and try to do that, and then you guys can make fun of me of how I
call him and get him out here and make him teach you how he does it with the car.
I don't think it's too terribly tough. That person hit the curb again. I saw they're drinking at 11:45 a.m. maybe.
You're gonna have to call them in. This could be a super simple thing that ends up being really great and wonderful, or it could just be constant projects. And we'll see how it all turns out. But so far, we've got it back. It still lives. We can still try to show you guys what it's like to have a high mileage Tesla.
All right, guys. Thanks for following along.
See you in the next one.